Hi there, my name is Sami, and I'm a user researcher here at Synthetic Users. In this video, I'll be showing you how to create studies that are exploratory in nature, okay? There's exploratory studies and there's evaluative studies. So here I'll just be showing you the exploratory ones. The first thing you want to do is click on New Project if you don't already have one. I'll show the whole flow here. So let's say Exploratory Studies. And once you've created that, click into it and you'll be able to create both studies and a plan. A plan is a Prisma, and I'll go into it after having shown you the studies. Within a project level, you can import your proprietary data into the tool by clicking on RAG. Then upload any files here that you believe will give the system more information about the audiences you want to simulate, and that will be relevant to this project. Okay. In reports, then you can visualize the reports that were created in your studies. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click Create Study. And from these templates here, the exploratory studies are those that require you to describe two things or provide the system with two inputs. Your audience description and the thing you want to investigate, your topic or your questions, okay, if you already have an interview script. So that said, also it's important to mention that there's two ways of creating studies in Synthetic Users. One's where you're using your custom questions, an interview script you already have, and another where you're providing those inputs and the system is generating the first 10 interview questions based on your inputs, on the audience description and your research goal. Okay? So from these templates, the exploratory ones are research goal, custom script, and problem exploration and ethnographic research. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and click on the blank option just so that I can show the whole flow. If you were to click on one of those templates, the canvas would immediately be populated with some of these building blocks that we called research primitives. But as I want to show you the whole flow, we're going to start from scratch. So you'll always see at the top here this guide, which tells you what are the things that are needed in order to create a research study. So the first thing we're going to do, doesn't really matter which order you do this in, but you have to complete all of them before you can progress onto the next stage. So I'm going to click on audience. And for this example, I'm going to say people working, or actually healthcare workers in Europe that work the night shift. Okay, so by entering a basic phrase like this, you can benefit from the polish button. If you already have a very well redacted and longer audience description, by all means, please input that in this field. But just for time's sake, I'm using a very brief sentence and then really benefiting from this very characteristic AI behavior that enhances anything you write. So I'm going to say accept, and let's have a look at what it said. So, right, the demographics, I'm going to say healthcare workers employed in European hospitals, clinics, or other medical facilities. Their occupations, individuals are engaged in various healthcare roles, including nurses, doctors. So we can kind of summarize this in our own way and edit it as we like. I'm going to remove these kind of subtitles. Okay, perfect. So let's say based in Europe, encompassing multiple countries with diverse healthcare systems. Okay, so I'm going to even remove this bit because I want to keep it simple. And if I had added previously some proprietary data about the healthcare audience I want to simulate, I would select it, or you can also upload it here, but you could, if I had some documents uploaded in this project, they would appear here, and I could select up to 3 per study. Okay, so now that's ticked. I'm going to close this window and then go back to participants. For this, I'm going to leave it at as the default. It's quite an exploratory study, so 5 will be enough. And I'm gonna go ahead to the next step. Here you can always kind of move this around if you like. And we were gonna create a exploratory study via the research goal template, if you remember from the previous pop-up. So here I would select goal. If I had my own questions, I would select the custom script, but as I don't, I'm going to show you how to do it through the goal. Then in another video, I'm going to show you how to set up a more evaluative test, which are these 2 at the bottom. And just know that anytime you want to use the templates, they're always going to be available here at the bottom for you. So let's go ahead and click into goal. And I want to learn about, to understand their experiences working the night shift. Pain points. I can leave it like that again. So let's use the polish button and see how this improves it for me. Perfect. It's written a proper research goal, and it's quite exploratory in nature, so that's great. Another option you have here is to infer a research goal from the audience you've described. So this is really supportive, even if you're, for research projects that are quite early stage. So even if you are, trying to use the tool for, brainstorming about how to approach a particular audience or what to learn about a particular audience, this could be a good way to do it, as the system will suggest, things that you can be investigating about that audience. So now this purple button has appeared here as all these points were ticked. I would say boxes were checked, but they are round. So let's progress on to the next phase, where the system is going to show us the participants that are available for our study. This is going to be the same flow for every type of study that you choose. You first go through your study planner, then you're shown the participants where you can still tweak them, and then you're going to move on to the output. Okay, so this one here is quite an important step, and one that is really unique to synthetic research, because if I were talking to a recruitment agency in the traditional human world, I would provide this agency with a screener, and I would describe, exactly who it is I want to talk to. And then the agency would come back to me with a list of people, right? However, it's just a list of people that meet your requirements. And here the platform shows you a lot more about these people. Each of these cards show their name, obviously, their demographic characteristics at the top. So, their profession, their age, and their location. These are not editable, but if you want to change these, you can either be a bit more explicit in what these things are in the previous step when we were describing the audience, or you can ask the system to regenerate the synthetic user and you'll get a new one. So yes, my point here was that you get a lot more information at this step before even having seen any interviews, without getting any insights yet. You are already getting some insight into these behavioral characteristics that the system is showing you about these people based on everything it knows about this audience. Obviously powered by the large language models that feed the data into this tool. So each of them get a personality attributed. This also is not editable at the moment, maybe in the future. And at the bottom here you have your more behavioral characteristics or criteria, which you can edit, you can delete, or you can add more. Okay, so if you were here to add, let's see, let's, for example, say, let's see, this person here is an emergency department doctor. Okay, so maybe very kind of more a higher salary rate. And where are they? Let's see, so that this makes sense. In Italy, Europe. So it would be euros. Let's say salary would be, I don't know how much a doctor earns. I'm gonna make something up. So 200K a year at this field. And then if I want the system to apply this new parameter to other to the rest of my cohort is the right word. I just regenerate the synthetic users. You see, so now it's kind of understood that that's the new parameter, and it will apply to all of them, or you can do that manually if you like. And once you're happy with your cohort, you are going to first, if you're working in another language, select the language you want the interviews to run in, and click Run Interviews. Okay, so we're gonna go do that. And these interviews are gonna start running pretty quickly. And you'll see the system has generated the questions for me, the first 10 questions. Every study begins with 10 questions, and then you get 20 additional questions that you can ask as follow-ups per interview. So each synthetic user gets 30 questions in total. Okay. The system here is very nicely saying what's happening as if we were in the real world, you know, how long recruitment is taking, and yeah, what it's doing, which is really, it's actually funny because it's a nod at the synthetic aspect of this, which really just speeds up the process incredibly. This would take weeks in traditional research. Just the recruitment probably would take weeks. Yeah, and here we're able to just sit and watch these interviews happening sort of in real time. It's not real time, it's quicker than real time. So yeah, you watch your interviews, your interviewees answer the questions. You can be kind of following along if you can read as fast as they answer. And we'll wait for those to be answered. Here we have a progress bar for each of them so that we see who's finished their interviews and who's still answering some questions. And once the interviews all finish running, then you can start asking follow-up questions if you have them. Okay? Let's give the system a moment. While we wait for Isabella and Anka to finish their interviews, I can show you. You can always navigate through the top bar across the different stages of your study. So the study planner is always here to give you that panoramic view of what you set up as a study. This cannot be changed anymore, obviously, because it's already run. You can also visualize your participants again. And by the way, you can download these as images if you want to then use them for your own reporting outside of the tool. Just click there and you get an image for that. And then finally the Insights tab, where you have your interview transcripts and your reports. So yes, if I go to the bottom of this interview, I'll see in a second, once Isabella answers, I'll see the Ask Follow-up Question button. Here I can ask Elena a question, or I can ask all of them a follow-up question, right? If you want to save some more time. There's another button here for Ask Follow-up Question if you want it to pop up anywhere. What else? I wanted to show you. You can also export the individual image interview transcripts here. If you hover by their name, and if you click on them, you'll see their participant card expanded again. Okay, so that's always available. By going to the second tab, you can ask the system to create a report for you. So here's where the synthetic users research agents come into play. Again, for the second time, because they come into play for the interviews that are whereby you're not asking your own questions. Here, the AI entities that behave as researchers, they're interviewing your synthetic users. And now at the report level, they are analyzing everything that came out during the interviews, as findings, I was going to say, and collating all this information, finding the themes, and summarizing this for you, presenting it as a report. So everything's going to be kind of broken down into first the executive summary, then what are the key themes that emerged, and you'll get also some verbatim quotes per theme and actionable insights towards the end. After this report is finished, we're also going to be able to ask follow-up questions at this level. So here you would be chatting to the research agent who created the report rather than asking follow-up questions to the synthetic users, okay? If you by any chance create a report and then go back to the interviews to ask follow-up questions and you want those answers also included in the report, then you just come here and ask the system to regenerate the report, okay? And then those answers will also be included. The same thing we can do here also for a different kind of visualization of the outputs, and we ask the system to generate a knowledge graph. Depending on how you like to consume data, if you're more of a visual person, then this might work for you. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention is that if you are doing some analysis yourself in the interview interview transcript, anything that you find that calls your attention, you can annotate, highlight. These are just random ones, but to show you that they will appear on the annotations tab here. They are segmented or organized per synthetic user and per question. Okay, so let's see, this is taking a couple minutes. Let's see if, yeah. Here you can always, here's the ask follow-up questions button. So you would be able to ask the system essentially to maybe dig deeper into any of the themes that emerged, or do other forms of analysis for you. It can kind of generate tables. It can summarize things further for you and things like that. So very similar to as if you were chatting to an individual large language model. So have a go at that. And then you can also download this report. Another thing you can do here is clone the study. So what would get cloned is the study planner. This basically, the setup of your study will get cloned. You can make some adjustments if you need to, but the participants will be new. They won't get cloned, and obviously neither will the insights, because they're a fully new group of synthetic users. Finally, the knowledge graph. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, so this is a mind map basically of the things that the themes that emerged in the transcripts, in the interviews, and then their connections, how they connect to each other and how they affect each other. So yeah, feel free to have a look at that as well. And let me go back here to our exploratory studies project, where I wanted to show you, or just briefly talk to you, because the setup will be very similar, or actually identical. Just one of the research primitives would change. If you're going to be doing the custom script, you would then describe your audience, select the number of participants, and enter your questions. Okay, up to 10 for the beginning. That would also be exploratory in nature. The problem exploration is a similar one to the research goal, but you're able to describe any problems that the audience is facing. That is optional as well, but you can have a go at that and see what the outputs are like. And then the ethnographic research is a quirky one. So the system, what it does is, rather than presenting you with the findings from the synthetic user's perspective, on the interview, on the transcripts page, on the insights, what you will get is a report from the research agent, as if they had gone and visited the synthetic users that you simulated, and then they come back to you and say, okay, on my first visit, this is what I saw, this is what I observed. And then on my second visit, this is what I observed per synthetic user. So yeah, it's the insights are more from the researcher's perspective rather than the like a question answer sort of format, as on all the others. Finally, what I want to show you is the plans. So Prisma would be the exploratory in nature. And what you'll do here is essentially describe your audience again. I'm going to use exactly the same audience. Actually, I can go back here and copy it, since I already have a nicely described one. I'll clone it. Here we go. So I will copy this. Let's duplicate the tab and let me open the Prisma study. So here we go. Plans. Oh, that's not the one. I have to go into plans to find a Prisma. And here we go, healthcare workers and what's my research goal. So what this is going to do is help me do some audience discovery. Okay. It's not going to run any tests yet. It's not going to run any interviews yet. What it will do is find relevant segments, considering the audience that I want to simulate and considering my research goal. Sub-segments within that audience that may be relevant to my research goal. And it will justify why those kind of additional audiences are potentially interesting for me to go ahead and run a study with. So yeah, this is also very exploratory in nature and can help you think a little bit outside of the box before you even run a study, simply by describing the audience that you're interested in. So here we go. It says, here it shows you your research plan, which is what you described. It gives you an explanation of how this segmentation is going to happen. And then it shows you here, in this case, I got 5. I think I had selected 5 in the previous step. You can request more. But it's telling you then which are the subsegments you would probably benefit from investigating. So night shift nursing staff specifically, the reason, the criteria, the goals. So this is kind of showing you an additional research project that you could run with nurses. These ones here are physicians and specialists. These ones here are technical support staff, and etc. So you can, if you want more, you can request another segment here. And if any of these are interesting to you or call your attention, based on what the justification is that the tool is providing for you to go ahead and investigate them, you just come here and say, okay, I want to chat to 7 of these people, run a study, and that will take you through the process we just went through together. And that's it. So yeah, this one's more for audience discovery. And in another video, I will record the more evaluative study types, which are user testing, solution testing, and multi-concept studies. All right. So thanks very much for watching. I hope this was useful for you, and please reach out if you have any questions. Bye.